Recently, we have been getting a lot of rebalances. Not long ago, we got a buff for some X Digimons, and after it, we got a buff for the variant Digimons. And in the most recent update, Omegamon and Examon alongside some other Digimons got rebalanced as well. So yeah, I decided to take the opportunity, since rebalance does seem to be a topic of discussion right now, to talk about the 5 Digimons that I think deserves a rebalance, deserves a buff. Obviously, what we are mainly looking at is the price and power of these Digimon. Some Digimon I think are a bit too expensive for their power, so yeah, these are the 5 Digimons that I think deserves a balance and a buff. And yeah, let's get started. And the first 2 Digimons are gonna be Kaiser Greymon and Magna Garurumon. And both Digimons requires 10 Spirit Digimons level to level 99, and Spirit Digimons cost us 45 crown each, because you need 1 Pokemon's book, which means in total you need 450 Pokemon's book to get Kaiser Greymon or Magna Garurumon. And here we are on the wiki to take a look at their stats. They are both an S+ rank, as you can see. Now S+ rank is basically 1 rank higher than your starter Digimon, and it is like the average tier for a burst mode, so they are not very strong. Now starting with Kaiser, looking at his stats, his HP is fine for his rank, but his attack is abysmally low. It's 1200 with 2.3 attack speed. That is incredibly low for an S+ Digimon with that attack speed. He also have incredibly low crit rate. Now his skill damage is fine, mainly because it have short cooldown, but because it only costs us 1 skill point per upgrade, meaning you can get all 3 skills to level 25, but that unfortunately doesn't change the fact that his stats are incredibly low, in addition of him lacking advanced skill breaking, and his skill animation are relatively long, so unfortunately he have 3 unusable skill in addition of having really low stats. That's my idea on how to buff him. First thing, I think he definitely deserved to be an SS rank. S+ rank is just way too low for a Digimon that is that expensive, so yeah, I definitely think he is worth to be at least an SS rank. So with that comes a stat increase. His HP, I would say, increases from 4500 to 5500, so additional 1000 base HP, and 5500 does seem to be an average. As for attack, I would definitely increase that from 1200 to at least 2000, maybe even 2100 to be decent, as his attack speed is actually kinda mid. It's not like slow but not fast either, so I guess attack could be 2200 or 2100 to be balanced. As for the skill, of course skill would get a little bit of an increase, but I will also give him advanced skill break on either F1 or F2, or maybe even both, because I think he's just way too expensive for his power. He's unfortunately very weak. He's not worth it at all. Now of course you will be asking about Susanomon, which don't worry, we'll talk about Susanomon later, but yeah, Kaiser Greymon definitely needs an upgrade. Now the next one is Magna Garurumon, and unfortunately Magna Garurumon have it worse, as his stats are incredibly low. This guy is unfortunately just really weak. He's trash, and that is unfortunate. His HP is less, his attack is incredibly low. Again, he has the same attack speed as Kaiser despite him having much lower attack, and his skill damage is also not that high either. So well, the thing about Magna is that he has data type, so even if they buff him, is not gonna be broken, so I will be more generous with the buffs. So I would say it should be increasing from 3900. It seems that they might want to make him a little bit of a glass cannon to have like low HP but high damage, so I would say maybe make that from 3900 to 4900, so slightly less than 5000. As for his attack, I would definitely increase that to 2200 or 2300, and for skill damage I would also buff the skills, because the skills are also incredibly low, and give him ASB on at least 2 skill, like on F1 or F3. Looking at the skill animation, actually his skill animation is incredibly long, so that also hurts him. A little bit of a skill buff, but also give him ASB on at least 2 skill for him to be, I guess, usable, because right now I think he's just atrocious. Next on the list, you probably have guessed it, and it is Susanomon. Normal Susanomon, not Susanomon Shin. And once again, we are here on the wiki to take a look at Susanomon, and yeah, if you look at this, you can see he received a lot of rebalances. He's probably the most rebalanced Digimon of all time, and the most recent one was on September 22nd, 2020. Well, that balance change, all it did was give him additional like 200 HP and 200 attack, and a little bit of a skill damage increase, a little bit of crit rate, and they increased his rank from an SS plus to a triple S rank, and unfortunately he's still very weak even after that rebalance. And Susanomon is still like relatively expensive as he requires Kaiser Greymon and Magna Garurumon, so he requires 20 Spirit Digimons leveled to 99 plus 2 more Digimons leveled up to like 130 because he's a joggers between both of them, so he's relatively expensive and unfortunately his stats are incredibly underwhelming. So yeah, starting off with his HP, as he's a triple S rank, I would say his HP needs to be at least 9,000 to be relevant. Again, 9,000 is still relatively low. You still kind of struggle a little bit if you want to do something like Royal Base, but I would say 9,000 is decent. As for his attack is very low. Now that is because he have a fast attack speed, but even then it still doesn't justify such a low attack for his rank. So I would definitely increase to attack to at least 3,000. And for his skill damage, he definitely needs to have ASB on either of the skills. Especially, I would say F2 since it's kinda long animation as well. Skills that have long animation are just generally bad without ASB. Like skills generally are bad without ASB, but because this one have long animation, it makes it even worse. So I would give him ASB on F2. As for his F3, I have an idea for a rework. Instead of making it one of these old AoE skills that have like low damage and short cooldown, that is useful in monster card, I don't think we need that on Susanomon since you already have Kaiser Greymon. So for this, I would actually change his F3 to be a nuke similar to Susanomon Shin. So for his F3, I would increase the cooldown to like 30-40 seconds and increase the damage to like 80,000, 90,000 or something like that. Give him a very strong F3. And yeah, that is how I would buff Susanomon. Now, Susanomon is not gonna be that broken anyway, mainly because Alphamon Orioken X exists, but also because of his attribute. He is a Thunder attribute, and Thunder is not really great. As you can see, it's actually weak against Dark Digimons, and that is what most vaccine Digimons are used for. Things like Royal Base or IDGH have their bosses being darkness, so Susanomon can't take full advantage of his attribute because of him being Thunder. So if we overbuff him a bit, it's not gonna be broken or anything, but right now I think Susanomon is just way too weak. And yeah, let's move on to the next one. Next we have Shoutmon Cross 5 by Pride and Joy, and one of my favorite Digimons in the game. And this guy is unfortunately very underwhelming. So once again, we are here on the wiki, and Shoutmon Cross 5 is a joggers between 5 Digimons, 5 cash exclusive Digimons. You cannot farm any of these Digimons, you need to buy them from the cash shop. And these 5 Digimon are Shoutmon, Ballistamon, Dorumon, Starmon, and Sparumon. You need all 5 Digimons in addition of the 2 mercenary slots to be able to use 5 Digimon at once. In addition of needing a lot of good crown, you need 27 good crown in total. Each of them costs 5 crown for a total of 135 crowns. So yeah, you need a lot of stuff for this guy, and unfortunately he is once again another very underwhelming Digimon. His rank is an SS rank, and his stats, while it's decent for his rank, he is still very underwhelming, mainly because he does not have ASB. He basically has 2 useless skills, and once again his skill animation is long and he doesn't ASB, so his skills are not worth using. Now how would I buff him is I would definitely make him an SS plus rank, and the reason for that is I think it actually makes sense since Shoutmon line doesn't have any SS plus rank. Like think about it, we have like Cross 3 which is an S rank, this guy Cross 4 S plus rank, and we have Omega Shoutmon as an SS rank, and Shoutmon Cross 5 SS rank as well, but then we have DX who's a triple S and then triple S plus. Yeah, no SS plus rank, so I would say it makes sense to make this guy an SS plus. Also, reminder, things like Moon Millenniumon and Ultra S exist that we're gonna buff him since they are cheaper Digimon that are stronger than him, so I think it makes sense if we buff him, make him an SS plus rank. Now as for his stats, it seems that what they are going for in the Shoutmon line is being tanky. As you can see, if we look at Shoutmon DX, he have an insanely high defense, and if we look at Shoutmon Cross 7, he have a pretty high HP. So they seem to go with a tank route for this guy, so I would do that. I would increase his HP from 6,100 to at least 8,500. That is obviously pretty high for an SS plus rank. As for his attack, I will increase it from 2,300 since he have 2.4 attack speed. That should be at least 2,800 for him to be decent with that attack speed. And lastly, for his skills, of course, buff them a little bit, like a 15%, 20% buff for his skills, and give him ASB on at least one skill. So yeah, this is my idea to buff Shoutmore Cross 5. I definitely think he's very underwhelming and deserving of a buff. And yeah, let's move on to the next one. And the last Digimon on the list is one of the few remaining X Digimons that you can obtain in this game, and this is Galantamon X. So Galantamon X is a Digimon that got a buff very recently. Now unfortunately, even after the buff, I did compare him to Ultra S, and unfortunately he wasn't really that good. Now I am aware that in my testing it was a little bit flawed. Yeah, I guess with good investment and investing on him F3, he can definitely out DPS Ultra S, but I think it's just way too much. Like, he needs like family buffs and Peak of Evolution, which is a cash only buff. So definitely makes sense that we should be buffing his base kit to make him not very reliant on limited buffs for him to be relevant. So this guy's kit is actually pretty okay. His only thing he's missing is actually the numbers. He just have low numbers. Now he already have two usable skills. His F1 have ASB, so his F1 is worth using. His F3 also another skill with high damage, so it's also worth using. As you can see, it scales very well with levels. As you can see, I just think he needs a bigger number. I would actually buff his attack by like additional 600, increase the attack from 2100 to like 2700 or even 2800, which is actually pretty high for a 2.2 attack speed, and also increases his skill damage by a little bit as well. I think his F1 is unfortunately not very strong. I think it definitely can get better, especially for an SS plus Digimon. I mean, I guess it's decent for his rank, but I think it could be better, something like 20,000, 23,000, and his F3 to, I guess, just round it up to 30k, and yeah, just make this guy deal more damage, because I think currently he is a virus Digimon that costs 12,000 X ticket. This guy is by far the most expensive Digimon in this list. So yeah, he's incredibly expensive, and unfortunately he's outclassed by free Digimons like Moon Millenniumon, for example. So I don't think Digimon that is incredibly expensive, that costs 12,000 X ticket, should be that weak in my opinion. So yeah, this is my idea to buff this guy. Give him a little bit of damage output, make him a good glass cannon that he can deal a lot of damage. Now of course he does have high evasion and whatnot, but unfortunately that's not like very relevant, or at least it's not like enough for you to get this Digimon, only for his high evasion. So yeah, this is my idea to buff these Digimons. Of course, let me know down in the comments what Digimons do you think deserve as a buff, and what do you think about my ideas. Do you agree with them, or do you think I overbuffed them or didn't buff them enough? And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. And with that, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, guys, make sure you leave a like on it and subscribe for more DMO content, and I will see you all in the next video.